Today, I want to talk about how to create good meta descriptions, titles, how to think about content writing, not just for SEO, but content that engages, resonates with your audience, what that takes. Meta descriptions, a lot of the time, in my experience, people think that they're easy to write, and they're shocked when I tell them that a title and a description might take you 20 minutes to make, or more sometimes, depending. And then when they go through, I regularly teach marketing teams how to write for SEO and how to implement SEO processes. And when we're going through these, they're like, man, okay, this is tough or this is hard. I usually have them try a bunch on their own before we meet. And they were like, man, this actually took a long time. And then I show them something like 10 or 15 that I do, and then try to have them redo theirs. And that way they get a sense of how I think about it. And they're just like, man, these are so much better. But yeah, now I understand more about how tough it is. And I think that this is a good example. Like I try to generate, people are relying on AI a lot, right? And I asked it to, act as a cyber health gut expert who's charismatic and also an expert marketer and SEO, create a meta description for a comprehensive article that includes all of these keywords and topics. The meta description should stand out in the SERPs, which means search engine results pages, demonstrate authority, and show the searcher that their question will be easily answered in an article. I mean, seems pretty good. But then if you're an expert marketer in SEO, you're not going to create like a 400 or 500 character meta description. Best practices are 160 to 320, 160 characters to 320 characters. So I said regenerate it to follow SEO best practices. It did not. So point one, be careful with the AI. It's not always listening to you. I tried it again, use active voice and not use the word discovered, because I hate the word discovered, so generic. So instead of that, it used another generic word, explore, and empower yourself, like whatever that means. I disliked it, and I made a suggestion. I just came up with this on the spot. This didn't follow SEO best practices. Use a generic language like explore. A great response would have been, this is for you if you think you have SIBO gut issues. The straightforward, practical guide to know about, take control of. Maybe I'll reword that. The straightforward, practical guide to know about, take control of your SIBO condition, and advocate for yourself with health professionals. I think I just proved that maybe that's not perfect, but freestyling a lot better. One, it's closer to 160 characters. Two, it's talking about things that are common issues. Like how many times have you had to advocate for yourself with a medical professional? They say something, you're like, I don't think I should have that low dosage. I've done this before. Or are you sure we shouldn't do that test? Okay, well, why that diagnosis? Why not a different one? Stuff like that. And so, this article, what I'm trying to do with that meta description is touch on those points that people with medical conditions tend to come up against. And so I'm getting into their mind and hopefully trying to resonate with them. And so I want this to be actionable, practical, and I want them to know that this is practical and this is for you, so that you can, again, take control of this. And I don't want to say things like explore, this is comprehensive, learn everything you need to know. People don't necessarily want to be an expert. Maybe they do, and maybe they'll want to become an expert later, but right now they just want the basics. People rarely want to just dive in and become an authority on a topic when they have a condition. They more so, when they have a condition, learn they do, or just tired of it, want to know exactly what to do, what to change, why this is happening. But then if they know that they have to go to a professional, they don't want to go in talking to the professional blind. They want to know what to ask, what to talk about. And when a doctor says something to you, what do you do? How do you follow up? And so I know that as a marketer, because I know, at least I should know that as a marketer. If I don't, then I'm not thinking about these things. If I'm relying on AI, I'm never going to get that in tune and in touch with the audience. So don't rely on AI too much. Get inspiration from it, but really try to understand what it is that they are, what you want the reader to take away from this. And I think that is one of the most important things when creating page titles and descriptions, starting with the end in mind. What do you want them to take from this article? You know, here is a purpose I created for this. The reader should leave this page knowing more about SIBO. Okay. Perhaps they found some of the medical literature and websites tough to understand at first. This should solidify their understanding, correct misconceptions, create a greater perspective about it, like a 30,000-foot view, so they feel moved to make lifestyle changes. The reason I said 30,000-foot view is because that's where strategy comes in, and that's where you start to inspire holistic life changes. If you give people like just action items, I know I've talked about action items earlier and how to take action, but we want to inspire them to change, to do lifestyle changes, not just take short-term immediate actions that might help them now. A 30,000-foot view is that strategy view that shows them they do need to make lifestyle changes, meaning change their life, not do this for 3 weeks or a month, feel better, and then push it. Change your life. Okay, so they feel moved to make lifestyle changes, not short-term fixes, and give them simple explanations that help them visualize the condition. What do I mean by that? I want them to be able to visualize as they're reading a topic or subject that we're talking about, so that they can build a story in their heads, because people memorize things through story, and so we want them to build a story in their heads. And so if they have to repeat what their condition is or how to fix it with somebody who is a layman and doesn't know anything about it, how do they do this concisely? So they should come away being able to concisely teach someone about SIBO. Get this type of purpose is necessary to create a good title or meta description. So I've done the meta description. I'm going to get into the title next and fix that to really try to make sure that it touches on a lot of the key points I just talked about. I hope that helps with thinking through page titles, meta descriptions, and even just copywriting and content writing in general.